बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अस्सलाम वालेकुम फ्रेंड्स, उम्मीद करते हैं कि आप सब खैरियत से होंगे। फ्रेंड्स, आज के सेशन में हम डिस्कस करेंगे सॉफ्टवेयर सप्लाई चेन सिक्योरिटी। वीडियो की तरफ बढ़ने से पहले हमारी आपसे रिक्वेस्ट है कि हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर दें। चलें आज के सेशन की तरफ बढ़ते हैं। To understand software supply chain security, it is necessary to first define the software supply chain itself. The software supply chain is anything and everything that touches an application or play a role in any ways in this development throughout the entire software development lifecycle. Software supply chain security is the act of securing the components, activities, and practices involved in the creation and deployment of the software. That includes third-party and priority code, deployment methods and infrastructure, interfaces and protocols, and developers' practices and development tools. Organizations and the are responsible for performing these security activities and for providing proof of their security efforts to consumers. Why are software supply chain attacks trending? In response to the software development organizations taking more steps to secure their applications, attackers have had to get more creative in their own methods. The sharp and continuous rise of the code rescue and cloud native approaches have provided them with the additional angles to mount the attacks several degrees of the separation away from their intended targets. Exploiting just one weakness opens the door for the threat actor traverse down the supply chain where they can steal the sensitive data, plant malware, and take control of the systems, something we have seen plenty of the examples of in recent time. In light of the uptick in security breaches, President Biden issued an executive order directing the heads of the several federal organizations to create the additional security guidelines surrounding the software they consume and operate, aimed at bolstering of U.S. cybersecurity profile. This order has prompted a nationwide re-examination of the organizational security practices that searches well beyond the specific at the federal level. What is an example of a software supply chain attack? SolarWinds, a major US IT firm, fell victim to a supply chain recently. Weak information security practices by a former intern exposed a critical internal password. Once the password was compromised, suspected Russian hackers were able to access a system that SolarWinds used to assemble the updated to Orion, one of its flagship products. From here, the attackers inserted the malicious code into an otherwise legitimate software update, following them to monitor and identify running processes that were involved in the complications of the Orion and replace source files to include the subburnt malware. Orion updates were deployed to an estimated 18,000 customers, and Sunburn sent the information back to the attackers that was used to identify the targets of the additional malware, broad-banded access, and spying. The fact that the intended targets and the victims of the attack were several degrees of the separation away from the entry point make this a popular example of the modern software supply chain अटैक। सो फ्रेंड्स, ये था हमारा आज का सेशन। मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो में। अल्लाह हाफिज़।